This was a surprising game of the weekend to me. Now, I had the Lions winning this football game, but the Falcons do fall to the Lions 20-6 in Detroit on Sunday. And there are some things going on with the Atlanta Falcons that I'm curious about. Again, I expected the Lions to win this game. They win 20-6. But where are the Falcons in this game? Where were the Atlanta Falcons in this football game? Offensively, defensively at times. Jared Goff kind of seems like he's just moving into a purgatory where he can't get touched behind his offensive line. But I'm worried about the Falcons coaching yet again. Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinators, yet again. Kyle Pitts has 9 catches for 100 yards through 3 games. You took him 4th overall. It's the highest pick tight end ever. I already told you it was a bad pick. We'll get into that a little bit later. You take him that early. You're misusing him so much. We know he's coming off of an injury-marred 2022. Great 68 catches for over 1,000 yards in his rookie year. The Cowboys called for him in a trade request, and that got shut down because the Falcons know what they have. And the Falcons realistically know you took him high because of what you saw in him. He should really be in your slot receivers, but how could you warrant getting anything for him or anything sustainable back in a trade package if Kyle Pitts hasn't even really done anything? You got Drake London has had 8 catches for 98 yards through 2 games, really just 2 games played, because in week 1 he had 20 routes ran and had 1 target in game 1 with no catches. What are we doing here, Atlanta? And I'm not even trying to bag on y'all because I'm a Saints fan. I just keep close eyes on y'all as being in the division. Like, I thought y'all were going to be really good this year. Defense is still holding up, but it's like Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. Those are all top picks out of the last couple drafts at the position, right? Oh, yeah, they are. But you didn't take an offensive lineman. You didn't take a defensive lineman. We're going to get into that here in just a minute as well, because there's a reason that I said the Bijan felt worse than the Kyle Pitts pick, or just as bad. Bijan Robinson is getting used well in the passing game, but he's not super producing back. I get it. He's a rookie. It's through 3 weeks. But with the Falcons last year, the Falcons really top 3, if not the best in all major rushing categories last year. Attempts per game, yards per attempt, yards per game, rushing touchdowns per game, rushing success rate, rushing EPA. And they doubled down and took Bijan when they were already strong in that strong suit, right? So you would think, okay, the Falcons are going to be a without question run first team that uses hell out of Bijan Robinson. The Falcons had 44 yards total rushing with this team in this game. Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Do the Falcons have an identity? Like, what are they trying to do offensively? And here's where my concerns kind of start to pile up, right? So Arthur Smith and the coaching schemes are now being called into question by others. I'm especially starting to look at it this year with all the talent that you've got on the team. And you can see he's tried to implement the passing game in the beginning his last 2 games. Last game against the Packers, Desmond Ridder obviously has a day. Yards, he had some nice stats there. And people were feeling okay about him, right? But Desmond Ridder has not been able to competently produce, and Arthur Smith knows that. And I think that's why he's giving him these chances early in the game to see if he can establish the foundation so possibly the play action can be kind of developed throughout. Obviously, there's some more key pieces to that, but he's almost giving the reins to Desmond Ridder in the first half. But you drafted Bijan Robinson to be a run-first football team. Arthur Smith knows he needs a dynamic quarterback in the 2023 year of the National Football League, especially in the offensive league we have today. That's why he's trying to trust him early on. And Desmond Ridder is showing you straight up to your face he cannot do it. Again, Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson, comfortable being a run-first team. You block like you're a comfortable run-first team. Atlanta passed the ball 18 times and ran it 8 times in the first half of this football game. They came up with 3 points. They got a field goal. Desmond Ridder wasn't good. He held the ball too long in some instances. He was inaccurate. He didn't flash the arm. And I went out on a limb for Desmond Ridder. I said Desmond Ridder has flashed Jalen Hurts. The ceiling of Jalen Hurts, kind of a smaller but Cincinnati, could spin it, was mobile. I thought he saw the field well. I mean, you could argue Desmond Ridder was the best quarterback coming out of the class. We obviously saw Malik Willis and, some of these other players that had come out, but was not good in this football game. Now, he was sacked 7 times for 62 yards, and really everyone outside of Jake Matthews looked good in this game. Jake Matthews, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I typed my notes a little wrong. Jake Matthews was the best offensive lineman in this game. Everyone else outside of him was kind of struggling. And you even saw Desmond Ridder looking downfield a lot after making some room with his feet just to throw it short at the line of scrimmage. He's thinking too much about it. It's a confidence thing. Does he think he actually has that arm to hit that downfield throw on a Drake London, on a Kyle Pitts, on those early draft picks that you took offensively? But where are your schemes to run that offense? First half, the Lions were sending extra bodies at Desmond Ridder on those obvious passing downs to make him nervous because the Lions know, shout out Dan Campbell, and their defense is actually improving. They knew the Falcons couldn't handle it. They knew that Desmond Ridder could not handle what was happening at that point in the football game. Then in the second half, they're like, okay, their offensive line's total track drop. We're going to just rush 4, still get pressure under quarterback, and then your wide receivers aren't going to be able to get open. So shout out to the Detroit Lions for being able to outcoach Arthur Smith here, which, I mean, unfortunately is not that hard to do. Yes, Arthur Smith was a good guy coming over from Tennessee, but what's going on, bro? What's happening? You're going conservative and kicking a field goal while down 17 in the middle of the fourth quarter is not a way to win this football game. Tell me you don't trust your offense or your quarterback, or I guess you rely too much on your defense without telling me that. Oh, yeah, we're just going to kick it down 20-3 in the game. You know, they're very comfortable at being a run-first football team, and they really block best as a run-first football team. I don't even want to get started on their pass rush or their passing, pass blocking, excuse me. But at other times, this team just absolutely feels lost. Once they latch on to those run-first teams, the teams in the NFL that are going to get tape on the Falcons, and they see that Desmond Ridder is right now an average to mediocre lackluster quarterback, it's going to fall fast. Y'all see what Derrick Henry's done so far this year? No, nothing, because it is a one-dimensional, mediocre quarterback, good defensive team. The defensive team doesn't have to do with it, but there's some similarities. Quarterback, running back, great. Offensive line, That's why you're not getting production. That's why Desmond Ridder's not able to move. How much longer does the issue of the Atlanta Falcons offensive line have to be brought up? I know it kind of rebounded last year and some and even the previous years, but this year it's not looking good. Desmond Ridder was sacked for 7 times for 62 yards this football game. This was the question for the Falcons fan base coming into the year. Can Desmond Ridder be the guy? Can Desmond Ridder do it? Because they bring Taylor Heinicke in because they know he's a veteran. He's played in a playoff game. Damn near beat Tom Brady in the year of the Super Bowl win for Brady and the Bucs. Obviously, it didn't happen, but there's a reason they brought Heinicke in. This was the question. You bring in Jesse Bates, you bring in Bud Dupree, you bring in Jeff Okudah, you bring in Caden Ellis, you bring in Calais Campbell, you bring in David Onyemata. Jesse Bates, like I said, best safety in the league. You bring all this in defensively. You draft Bijan Robinson. This team feels so set. But why are we not talking about the Falcons more? Why do my Saints not get talked about more? Because of who is taking snaps under center. The captain of the team is not someone that can get you very far. The Falcons defense is third to last in the NFL in sacks. They need an edge rusher without a doubt. That Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith pick feels real good now, don't it? No, we're going to take Bijan early on. Nah, we don't want an offensive lineman high up. Sure, yeah, you went and got O-line help last year. We don't want a defensive lineman. We want to go get Kyle Pitts. You're still 2-1. You're still atop the NFC South. How much longer do the same mistakes need to continue to show the Atlanta Falcons that they have to improve on their core, like their core values football team? I mean, Grady Jarrett gets more pressure himself than the entire edge rushers as a unit do for the Atlanta Falcons. Caden Ellis and David Onyemata, yeah, they're doing their thing, but as a unit, they just don't have edge pressure yet. So again, does that not taking Jalen Carter feel better to you? Just passing on Nolan Smith, or hell, even a Tyree damn Whit feel better to you? Bijan was a top 5 player in this draft, right? Don't get me wrong. You take, BPA, best player available. I'm not really a BPA guy. Some people say you take BPA if you fill out your roster going down. When you're in the position that the Falcons are in, you got to make a decision, right? Like, hell, I still think about if they would have taken Justin Fields at number 4. Maybe that's not a thought that Falcons fans have, but when you see the defense not performing to how they should, especially with the pass rush, the secondary pretty solid. Offensive line falling through, not able to help the pass game. Desmond Ritter, we knew he was questionable, but now he's really looking suspect. And Bijan's not getting used as well as he can. Run game kind of tailoring away in this bad loss. Kyle Pitts and Drake London, like what? They got 72 total yards combined out of them. Falcons got some decisions to make. Falcons have some big decisions to make and some things to address as they go forward in this NFL season.